We are following breaking news from Washington, D.C. Within the last hour, the third Republican nominee for Speaker of the House has withdrawn from the race.
Minnesota Republican Tom Emmer pulled his name out of the running just hours after being nominated by the party. So this means the House remains unable to do any business. And WGN political analyst Paul Lisnek is joining us now with some insight. Paul, thanks for being with us. It seems that Emmer got tanked by Donald Trump, who had called him a rhino.
That's exactly right. You know, the day started with 8 candidates. They had votes and dropped the bottom one down until it got to the last two. Emmer got it. Emmer is the whip among Republicans, and what that means is he's the vote counter. And so initially he called for there to be a vote this afternoon, but as a whip, he counted his votes, and he wasn't getting anywhere near 217. And you are right, Ray. Apparently, former President Trump made a reach-out effort to some Republicans to say, do not make this guy speaker, and that was the end of him.
Trump really has him in line, doesn't he? Paul, let me ask you this. Let's do a quick timeline. 3 weeks ago, Kevin McCarthy's ousted. Since then, how many possible nominees have there been?
Well, lots of nominees, Mike, in terms of people who have put their hat in the ring.
Right.
But of course, what we had after McCarthy was we went Steve Scalise, but he never even made it to the floor. He withdrew when he knew he didn't have the numbers. And then, of course, Jim Jordan from Ohio, and he went a couple of votes, wanted to take it further.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and here we are now. Now, the two names, just in case you have your bingo and scorecards with you that we'll probably hear about more tomorrow. We're actually through all the names that are familiar to people, but the ones to keep an eye on now, Mike Johnson from Louisiana, Kevin Hern from Oklahoma. Both of them voted to overturn the election. Both of them are staunch supporters of President Trump. That means they will have trouble getting 217 among those who are not in that position. But those are the next two who look to be in line for consideration.
Paul, there was talk of a candidate forum to help GOP members try to make a choice here. Is that still on? We've had 20 plus elections so far.
Well, they did that yesterday, actually. So I don't know if they're going to do another one, because yesterday they came back from the weekend actually, they had 9 candidates and then one dropped out. So they were dropping like flies fairly quickly. But they went through that process. It's a closed door meeting. We don't know what happened other than leaks that came from it. You're not seeing the same kind of group of people putting their names in. So I don't know that there's talk now of doing another one of those.
Well, if I'm
forums.
not mistaken, I think they're supposed to have one at 5 o'clock tonight.
Well, so that may be the consideration then between Johnson and Hern,
Yeah.
And questioning those two people to see which one of them can emerge. Not a bad idea, because it's time the Republicans have to get through this process and do it quickly.
You know, we've got 2 wars going on. The president is asking for humanitarian aid. We've got 1 war in which we have American hostages. Nothing can be done right now. People don't realize that. No government work can be done when the House is in limbo like this.
And the only way it could be done is if the House were to empower Patrick McHenry, who's the Speaker pro tem.
They tried that already. They tried that already.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the way, but that is the way to do it. And you're right. That got rejected. So as long as they've made the decision that they need to have a speaker in place, you are absolutely right, Micah. Nothing can be done.
A few seconds left here, Paul. When and if a new speaker gets elected, will we be right back in the same position we were because it just takes one member to call for a vote to get rid of a speaker? Is that going to happen again, or was that only for Kevin McCarthy?
Well, let's put it this way. Tom Emmer was the best shot I think Republicans had among the names we know for, maybe even Democrats, not to get on board. They would not have got on board and voted for him. But there was talk of some Democrats not showing up at the meeting, which would have lowered the number from 217 that Emmers would have needed to get the spot. It never got that far. So I don't think you'll see Democrats give either of these two gentlemen, Johnson or Hern, that same courtesy, because both of them are Trump supporters and election deniers. So Republicans are going to have to find, with these candidates, 217 on their own.
Thank you, Paul. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Let's check in with